if I turn this sink on, it just comes down, drains in that floor?
Yep.
So far, the only thing I see is scale buildup. It's definitely all cast iron. There's your floor clean out there.
Is that over here?
There's some clay outside. Yes, there's clay.
Outside transitions.
Some roots there. They're not major. They're not in a flow line. So it reduces down to a smaller pipe there. So you're either 5 or 6 inch here. And reduces
4 to 3 there.
down to 4. This is the second one I've seen. There's a major offset right there.
Is that where it like hits the road?
I can find out more than likely, yeah. I just had one yesterday here in Hamilton, did the same thing. It goes from cast to clay to cast to clay. So you got a soft clog starting there.
See that. And that's out in the yard somewhere.
Yeah, it's about 58 feet. You see how it's all, with me pushing the camera throughout, it's pushing all that. I think your biggest problem is going to be your toilet. There's only one bathroom in here or two?
One.
If it's a cheap toilet, you just replace your toilet. Soft clog, so this pipe is laying kind of flat right there. It's causing all that to build up. Right here is where it's going to drop into the main. There's your main. So you're roughly 91 feet out.
So I've got cast iron and clay. Some scale buildup and looks like some soft clog buildup potential there.
I don't know if it's worth jetting. If you go in and you turn every faucet on in the house, it'll push that out of there. And I would say that whenever it flooded, you had a soft clog and you had enough head pressure build up behind it that it pushed the majority of it out. taking a while for it to it's not showing any water yet. But it's starting to come now. It's got a lot pushing behind it. See it kind of pull a little bit of stuff with it. So it's taking a while for that to get there.
Real good place to have a clog for right there.
So I'm the toilet paper just went by. See if it's pushed anything out. There's definitely no secondary clog in this branch line. It took all that water good. Let's see where that floor drain. looks like it's an area of scale buildup. This is a shelf right here. And then, so what that's doing is it's creating a new flow line, and it's wearing out the scale, or it's a thinned out area in the cast. So you could go in and descale this. Basically what we would have to do is open the floor up right there by the clean out, come upstream with a set of chains, and once you get outside, it's a minimal scale until you get to that spot. Where it looks like it reduces down. So you got heavy scale, heavy. It's not really heavy. I mean, so this is a scale shelf, and this is a scale shelf, and you can see where the flow line is. There's your clean out. So it's about 17 foot of descale upstream. This is minimum scale build up here, so you really don't have to worry as much about the descaling that. You can take a set of paddles, sanding paddles. You do have roots. I don't really see anything active. You don't have any big trees out there, so it could be like old shrubs or something that was. They don't really look like they're live as much as they are dead. So then here, it looks like it's either out of the bell a little bit, and that's why it looks like it's reducing down. Here you get into some heavier scale, especially right here. You can see where it lifts the camera up right here. This could be potentially a rotted spot, or just where scale is broken off. When cast iron rots, it's usually the bottom 1.5 inches or 2 inches of your flow line is. So, if you were to go in there and descale this, potentially right here, the bottom of the pipe's going to be gone. Yeah. So when we do a descale, we follow it with. So there's 43 from 17. So you got another 30, 27 foot or so of cast outside before it goes to clay. And then if I remember, we'll do the cast again. Yesterday, Hamilton was cast clay to cast back to clay. So you're potentially looking at about $6,400 to do a descale, but you also have to have the mindset that then you have to line it. So you may be better off, financially, if you don't want to swing $6,400 plus a liner to change out the toilet and or flush the toilet twice. And just randomly, if you walk back by this sink to do laundry or whatever, turn the water on and let it run for a couple minutes to make sure that it's pushing anything out that might be laying in there. We don't want that area there. It's a little bit of an offset. much guarantee you if it's 100 years old, it's going to have to be lined if you descale it.
6,800.
It's around 6,400 to open the floor up, descale it. You have to flush it with the jetter, and then we would put in a two-way clean out or a new clean out directional and on the depth for the concrete. But like I say, you have to have the mindset.
But then I'm gonna have to do a
You would want, so the way you would want to do that is, we would send you a, see that's a pretty heavy scale right there. We would send you a liner quote with the coat quote, the descale quote, because the last thing you want to do is reveal a bunch of rot and not have the money. That right there is just where scale is broken loose and it's just piled up. The last thing you want to do is do a descale, reveal a bunch of rot, and then not have the finances for doing a liner, because if we descale it with an approved liner quote, we can do the liner that day if it's needed. Mm-hmm. If we come in and just do a descale and then reveal rot and you didn't approve a liner quote, it might be 4 to 6 weeks before we come back to line it because we didn't come prepared to line it that day.
And like rough ballpark on a liner.
So if you line it,
would I have to line everything all the way out to the road?
well, and that's where you have to figure out if your finances come into play, because if you're going to line, you either would line a foot into here, but then when you stop here, you've got 2 or 3 areas that have roots coming in. So if you're gonna line, you would line 29 feet. So our minimum liner is 35 feet at $5,800. So you would want to line at least 35 feet. 35 feet would put you back into the cast iron, which means we have to descale up to this point in that cast iron just to get the liner to be able to open up all the way. So if you decide to go 35 feet, well then you want to go all the way out a foot into here, because we're going to have to descale that 35 foot point. And then if it reveals rot, then let's say the bottom of the pipe comes out, you want to be able to get to solid pipe for that last bit to adhere and to open up all the way. So then you're at a 45 foot line. It's like, where do you stop? You know what I mean? The problem is going from clay to cast back to clay. And then if you line to this point, you're also covering up the joints that have the root intrusion. So at the end of the day, if you were going to do it and do it right, you would want to do a 45 foot liner to get you out past the 2 sections of cast iron, get you out past the roots. If you do only a descale, then it's $5,800. If you do a descale and a liner, then the descale becomes $1,800, and then you're $155 a foot times 45. So you save money at the end of the day if you end up doing both of them, because it becomes an add-on and it goes down $1,800. So if you do 45 foot.
You said 155, comes out to about $7,000.
155 times 45, 69.75 plus the 1,800 is 87.75. If you were to do the D-scale at 5,800, and then you had to line it after that, and it's 4 weeks later, then you're at 12,800. Right.
It's a big difference.
Right. So the good thing about that is you're getting them both done at a lot cheaper rate because it basically takes $4,000 off. If we were to come and do it in 2 trips, we can't discount the D-scale part of it. If you do it as 1 trip, it's an add-on and it takes $4,000 off. So it's something to think about. You know, you're not in any immediate danger now. You know, if your finances are tighter, you know, that's a lot of money for anybody. We also have, you know, we do financing through Kimba. They usually have some promotions going on. But you know, like I say, you're not in any immediate danger right now, so it gives you time to, you know, think about it.
Just long term, if you do a D scale, you do the liner out to 45 feet and everything. How long is that liner good for? Am I looking at like, hey, for the next 10 years, you ain't really gonna have to worry about your pipes? Or?
So a liner has a 10-year warranty.
Okay.
It has a 50-year life expectancy.
Okay.
So if you like, no, I don't want to do the liner, and I'm just going to dig it all up, including outside. PVC pipe only has a 50-year life expectancy too. So it's going to be a whole lot more unless you just get Joe Bob with a mini excavator that is doing it for wages. You know, if you was to get a reputable excavation company in here, if they're going to dig up the outside, it's going to cost you more to dig it up and replace it just outside, where we're doing outside and inside.
Right.
If you were going to do a D-scale and a liner, what we would probably do is dig it up here and then shoot it all in one shot. If we dug up there to do the D-scale only and then had to do a liner, then you're shooting 2 liners because we have to shoot 1 upstream and 1 downstream. If you dig it up here, we do it as 1 shot.
Right. When you say dig up, are you busting up the concrete?
Basically, we would jackhammer the floor and remove a short section, shoot the liner, and then reinstate that with new PVC, backfill it, and then pour the concrete back. It's a tough call because it's not my money. You know, if you want to wait it out and save up or whatever, you know, not knowing your finances, that's a good hit, you know, to anybody. Whether you got $100,000 in the bank or $1,000 in the bank, it's a hit that somebody's not expecting. So, you know, this area right here is the biggest concern.
Yeah.
Where it has
the scale buildup.
You know, the scale's just laying there. I'd rather push some of it. Hey, pause this.
But it's potentially cause for concern.
Yeah. I can't tell if that's dirty gravel or if that's just buildup of scale that's looking rough with rough edges. But I would say that descaling it is definitely going to open up a can of worms. I think it's to the point. And I'll show you a picture once I have my gloves off of, you know, the scale hides so much. You know, we can only go by what we see with the camera. And when it looks so thinned out in that area, like here, it's hard to tell what this spot is because it's different than those two. If that's just like grease laying there, or if that's where the pipe is gone. Did you have a sewer inspection when you bought the house?
I had just a regular home inspection.
Did you have this done, or was this already
That
done?
was already done.
So somebody put that in there so that they could auger it. I bet you there was an issue between here and that clean out. And if it had a clean out on it, it was probably cast iron with a test cap, or I'm sorry, a test tee with a brass clean out, and they probably couldn't get that out of there, so they cut it out and put a PVC clean out in. There's a tie-in there, so that's this tie-in. The washing machine. Usually I can look at a clean out and tell if there's been a lot of issues, because if they put a cable in there, it wears out the side of it.